Found out my fiancé was cheating, so I secretly got payback in the pettiest way possible. Let's get this shit straight. I'm just some regular person, nothing special about me. But what happened? Jesus, I need to tell someone or I'll explode. Oh, I was with this guy for like 3 years. Let's call him Fiancé, 'cause that's what he was supposed to be. My damn fiancé. Everything seemed cool, you know? We weren't perfect, but who is? We'd argue about stupid shit like whose turn it was to do the dishes, or whether we should get a dog or a cat. I wanted a dog, by the way. But nothing serious, at least not until a few weeks ago. I work late sometimes, and he's got this 9-5 office job that he's always bitching about. One night I got home earlier than usual, and that's when I noticed something was off. His car was in the driveway, which was weird because he told me he had to stay late for some bullshit meeting. My gut was twisting, but I brushed it off. I go inside, and there he is, sitting on the couch, looking like a deer caught in headlights. "You're home early," he says, trying to act casual. But here's the kicker. I noticed something under his shirt. A hickey. A fucking hickey. My heart just about stopped. I knew damn well I hadn't put that there. "Where the fuck did you get that?" I asked, pointing at his neck. He goes pale, tries to cover it up with his hand like that would make it disappear or something. "It's nothing, babe. Just a rash." I laughed, but it wasn't because it was funny. "A rash? Really? Do I look like a fucking idiot to you?" He stammered, trying to come up with some half-assed excuse. But I wasn't having it. I stormed out of there, needing air, needing space, needing anything but to see his lying face. I didn't know what to do. I drove around aimlessly for a bit, rage boiling in my veins. I needed to calm down before I did something I'd regret. But let me tell you, I was already planning the most petty revenge I could think of. I was going to make him pay, in a way he'd never forget. So, after that night, I didn't say a word. I played it cool, acted like everything was fine. I knew he was waiting for me to explode or confront him, but I wasn't going to give him that satisfaction. Instead, I started putting my plan into action. First thing I did was dig through his shit when he wasn't home. I'm not proud of it, but fuck it. All's fair in love and war, right? I found exactly what I was looking for. Texts between him and some chick. Let's call her side piece. The messages were gross, all lovey-dovey and shit, talking about how they couldn't wait to see each other again, how he was going to leave me soon, and how they'd finally be together. Bullshit. But instead of losing it, I got to work. I started planting little seeds of doubt in his mind. You know, casually mentioning how I'd been thinking about our future, how I wasn't sure if I was ready for marriage, stuff like that. I wanted him to think I was backing out, so he'd let his guard down. Meanwhile, I was busy doing other things. I told my mom and dad that we were having relationship issues, and that I might need a place to crash soon. They were concerned, of course, but I didn't tell them what was really going on. I wasn't ready for that conversation. I just needed to know I had somewhere to go when shit hit the fan. I also started packing up, little by little, things he wouldn't notice missing. Clothes I didn't wear often, sentimental stuff I didn't want to leave behind, important documents. I'd drop them off at my parents' house when I went to visit them. Slowly but surely, I was preparing my escape while he had no fucking clue. Then, I set the trap. I accidentally left my engagement ring on the kitchen counter one morning before I went to work. When I came home that night, I acted all panicked, searching the house, pretending I'd lost it. He looked nervous, and I could tell he thought I'd figured out his dirty little secret. "What's wrong?" he asked, trying to act concerned. "My ring! I can't find my ring!" I wailed, putting on the best show I could. I must have left it at the gym or something. "Don't worry, babe. We'll find it," he said, patting my back like he actually gave a shit. But I knew where the ring was. I knew exactly where I'd left it, and I was waiting for the right moment to strike. About a week later, I decided it was time. We were sitting at the dinner table, eating some bland-ass pasta he'd made, because let's be honest, the man couldn't cook to save his life, when I dropped the bomb. "I've been thinking," I said, pushing the noodles around on my plate, "about us." He looked up from his plate, probably expecting another one of my doubts conversations. "Yeah? What about us?" I don't think we're going to work out, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. His fork clattered to the table. What? Where's this coming from? I don't know, I shrugged. I just feel like maybe we rushed into this whole engagement thing. Maybe we're not as compatible as we thought. He was starting to sweat, and I could see the panic in his eyes. But we love each other. We can work through this. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered those texts, that hickey, and I steeled myself. I'm not so sure about that, I said, leaning back in my chair. In fact, I think it might be best if we take a break. He was shaking his head, practically begging me to reconsider. No, we can't just take a break. We're engaged. We're supposed to be getting married. Yeah, about that. I pulled the engagement ring out of my pocket and tossed it on the table. His eyes widened as he stared at it, realization dawning on his stupid face. I think you should give this to your side piece instead. What the fuck are you talking about? He stammered, but he knew. Oh, he knew. Don't play dumb, I snapped. I know all about her. I know you've been fucking around behind my back, planning to leave me for her. So, guess what? I'm saving you the trouble. You can have your precious side piece, and I'll have the satisfaction of knowing you'll never find anyone better than me. He was speechless, just sitting there with his mouth hanging open like a goddamn fish. I stood up, grabbed my keys, and headed for the door. Oh, and by the way, I called over my shoulder, I've already moved most of my stuff out, so have fun explaining that to your little girlfriend. Then I left, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. I drove to my parents' house, where they were waiting for me with open arms. I told them everything, and they were pissed, but they were also proud of me for standing up for myself. But the best part? A few days later, I got a message from one of Fiancé's friends. Apparently, side piece found out he was still living with me and dumped his sorry ass. So now he's all alone, no fiancé, no girlfriend, just a pathetic loser who lost everything because he couldn't keep it in his pants. You'd think that would be the end of it, right? I got my revenge, moved out, and washed my hands of the whole thing. But oh no, it wasn't over yet, not by a long shot. A week after I left him, I got a call from my dad. He sounded pissed, which wasn't like him. You need to come over, now. I rushed over, heart pounding, and when I got there, I saw Fiancé's car in the driveway. My blood boiled just seeing it. I stormed into the house, ready to tear him a new one, but I stopped dead in my tracks when I saw him sitting on the couch, with my dad standing over him. What the hell is he doing here? I spat, glaring daggers at him. He says he wants to talk to you, Dad said, crossing his arms. I didn't want to let him in, but he wouldn't leave. Fiancé looked like shit. His hair was a mess. He hadn't shaved, and there were dark circles under his eyes. I fucked up, he said, voice cracking. I know I did. I'm sorry, okay? I'm fucking sorry. Sorry doesn't fix anything, I snapped. What do you want? You have some nerve coming here. I don't know. I miss you. I miss us. Miss us? I laughed bitterly. You didn't seem to miss us when you were screwing around behind my back. I know. I'm a piece of shit, all right? But can't we just talk? Please? My dad shot me a look, silently asking if I wanted him to kick Fiancé out, but I shook my head. Fine. He wanted to talk? We'd talk. Fine, I said, crossing my arms. Talk. He took a deep breath, like he was trying to find the right words. I don't know why I did it. I was stupid. I got caught up in the attention, and I thought, I don't even know what I thought. But when you left, it hit me. I lost the best thing that ever happened to me, and I'm so fucking sorry. I wanted to stay angry, but the truth was, seeing him like that made me feel a little sorry for him. Just a little. You didn't lose me. You threw me away, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. You made your bed. Now you get to lie in it. I know, he said, tears welling up in his eyes. But please, I'm begging you, give me another chance. I'll do anything. Another chance? I scoffed. You think you deserve another chance after what you did? He was crying now, full on sobbing, and I didn't know what to do with that. I wasn't used to seeing him like this. Please, he choked out. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go to therapy. I'll quit my job if that's what you want. Just Don't leave me." I was silent for a long time, just staring at him, trying to figure out if there was any part of me that still wanted to be with him. But all I felt was emptiness. Whatever we had, it was dead. He'd killed it. "I'm sorry," I said finally. "But no, we're done." His face crumpled, and he broke down completely. My dad stepped in then, putting a hand on my shoulder. "You heard her," he said to Fiancé. "It's time for you to go." Fiancé didn't argue. He just nodded, wiping his face with the back of his hand as he stood up. "I'm sorry," he whispered one last time before he left. When he was gone, I collapsed onto the couch, feeling drained. Dad sat down beside me, not saying anything, just being there for me. And that was all I needed in that moment. It's been a few months since all that went down. I'm in a much better place now, but it hasn't been easy. For a while, I was a mess. Angry, hurt, confused, all of it. I went through every emotion under the sun, but eventually I started to heal. I've been going to therapy, working on myself, and I'm finally starting to feel like me again. I've reconnected with old friends, started new hobbies, and I'm focusing on my career. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm in control of my life. As for Fiancé, well, I haven't heard much from him. I know he tried to get back together with Side Piece after I rejected him, but from what I hear, that didn't work out either. Guess she didn't want to be with a guy who cheats on his fiancée. Go figure. I won't lie and say I'm completely over it. There are still days when I feel angry or sad or just plain confused about everything that happened, but those days are getting fewer and farther between, and I'm learning to let go. Sometimes I wonder if I should have handled things differently. Maybe I was too harsh, too quick to cut him off. But then I remember how he made me feel, how he betrayed my trust, and I know I did the right thing. I deserve better, and I'm not going to settle for anything less. So yeah, that's my story. It's not some fairy tale ending, but it's real. And I think that's more important. Life isn't always perfect, but we deal with the shit that gets thrown our way and come out stronger on the other side. At least, that's what I'm trying to do. A few weeks after I posted my story, something happened that I wasn't expecting. I thought I was done with Fiancé for good, but apparently the universe had other plans. One day, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. Normally I wouldn't answer, but something told me to pick up, and I'm glad I did because it was Side Piece. She'd somehow gotten my number, and she was furious. "I need to talk to you," she said, her voice tight with anger. "Why the hell would I want to talk to you?" I shot back, ready to hang up. "Because you need to know what your ex has been up to. He's been stalking me, and I think he's been following you too." That stopped me in my tracks. Stalking? Following? What the hell was she talking about? She went on to tell me that after I dumped Fiancé, he'd gone off the deep end. He'd been showing up at her place, trying to win her back, but when she refused, he started following her around, showing up at her work, leaving creepy notes on her car. She even had a restraining order against him, but he wasn't taking the hint. "And I think he's been doing the same to you," she said. "Have you noticed anything weird? Like, have you seen him around when he shouldn't be?" I hadn't, but the thought made my skin crawl. "No, I haven't," I said, my voice shaking a little, "but I'll keep an eye out." We ended the call, and I was left with this sinking feeling in my gut. I didn't want to believe it, but something told me she was telling the truth. I started looking over my shoulder everywhere I went, feeling paranoid and jumpy. I even considered moving to a different city, just to get away from him. But then, one night, I saw him. I was out with some friends trying to have a good time and forget about all the shit that had gone down. We were at this bar, laughing and drinking, when I noticed someone watching me from across the room. It was Fiancé, and he looked like a complete wreck. I tried to ignore him, but he kept staring, like he was waiting for something. Eventually, he got up and started walking towards me. My heart pounded in my chest, but I wasn't going to let him intimidate me. "What do you want?" I snapped when he got close enough. He didn't say anything at first, just stood there, staring at me with those sad, pathetic eyes. I miss you, he finally said, his voice barely above a whisper. Too fucking bad, I shot back. We're done, remember? I can't live without you, he said, his voice cracking. Please, just give me another chance. I'll do anything. Anything? I asked, narrowing my eyes. Like, not stalk me and my friends? I'm not stalking you, he protested, but I didn't believe him for a second. I wanted to see you. I wanted to talk. Well, here's your talk, I said, standing up and getting in his face. We're done. Move on with your life and leave me the fuck alone, or I'll get a restraining order too. He looked like I'd slapped him, but I didn't care. I was done with his bullshit. I turned and walked away, not looking back. I could feel his eyes on me, but I didn't stop. I was finally free, and I wasn't going to let him drag me down again. A few months after that last encounter, I finally got some closure. I found out through mutual friends that Fiancé had moved out of town. Apparently, he realized that no one wanted anything to do with him anymore, and he couldn't handle being in the same place as me. So he packed up his shit and left. Good riddance. I've been doing a lot better since then. I'm focusing on myself, working on my career, and just enjoying life. I've even started dating again, though I'm taking things slow. I'm not ready to jump into anything serious, but it's nice to know that there are decent guys out there who won't treat me like shit. As for Fiancé, well, I hope he gets the help he needs. I don't hate him anymore, but I'll never forgive him for what he did. He made his bed, and now he has to lie in it. So yeah, that's the end of my story. It's been a wild ride, but I'm stronger because of it. I learned a lot about myself, and I'm proud of the way I handled everything. Life isn't perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better without him in it. Thanks for reading, and if you are ever in a similar situation, just remember, you deserve better. Don't settle for anything less.